Hi, welcome. I am Goblin Witch, otherwise known as Tori, and I'd like to welcome you to my brand new channel. So, thanks for coming, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. My plans for this channel basically going to be mostly book reviews. Also, thinking through just incorporating my life and vlogging in general. I like to do a lot of different creative, crafty projects. I'm a pagan, so I try and weave that into my everyday. So I thought this would be a fun way to take everyone along with me. So welcome and thanks for coming. We are going to start my first video, very exciting, is I want to talk you through my fall 2025 TBR. So I did this last year where I basically had a list of books that I wanted to read for the fall season to kind of get me in the mood, um, and just really soak up those vibes. You know, we only get them for like 2 months out of the year pretty much. And it's my favorite season. So I try and do everything I can to hold on to it while we've got it. So, what I'm going to do is kind of talk you through my 2024 TBR and how I did with that, and then we can chat through what I'm hoping to do for this first video, which is my 2025 TBR. So let us start off. I am on Fable. I joined Fable earlier this year, trying to get away from the Amazon overlords. So I've been tracking everything on Fable since like May, I want to say. October 2024 TBR. 8 books. I'm going to talk you through the ones that I read pretty briefly. Slewfoot, I wanted to read last October, and for some reason, I just couldn't do it. I did read it earlier this year, and I rated it 4 stars. It's amazing. Actually, 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. I love Slewfoot. It's amazing. The Hollow Places, read that. It wasn't my first T. Kingfisher. My first one's a little bit further down, A House with Good Bones. But Hollow Places was super interesting. I really love reading T. Kingfisher. She's not on my fall TBR, but do expect to see me reading her a lot again in the future. She has a few different series that I really want to read. Bird Box, that was pretty good. If you've seen the movies, you know the book. The book was a little bit more horrific than the movie was, to be honest. That's the first Josh Mallerman that I've read, and I have heard that he is like good. So I do want to read more from him. Mary, amazing. 4 stars, 4.25 stars. I loved Mary. It was so good and just not what I was expecting to get out of it at all. I'm glad that I went into it not really knowing what it was going to be about. A House with Good Bones, amazing. I love that book. I love T. Kingfisher's like point of view. It's very, I don't, I, it's very like individualistic. It's very creative. I really love reading her books. That one was a good one. I'm obsessed with vultures. So the vultures in the book and the symbology of them like hit really hard. I don't have a physical copy of A House with Good Bones. I don't like this cover. I really like the green cover, I think, but eventually I will get it. And then Moon of the Crusted Snow, very good. Really enjoyed that. Again, didn't really know what I was going into, and I really enjoyed it. I love post-apocalyptic, end of the world kind of book, so that really hit very good. When the Reckoning Comes, that was amazing. So a lot of these I have. When the Reckoning Comes, I have like right here. I love this book. It's so good. But anyways, that is where we were at for 2024. I'm just gonna leave that there. So let me take you through 2025. So you may have noticed at the end of this list, the monk is listed. I still have not gotten to that, and I will be getting into that in the second part of this. So this is going to be a 2-part series. This is part 1, first half of my TBR. I'm going to go over that with you, and the next part, I'm going to leave a little bit of a surprise, but do know that the monk is in that one. So first off, we are going to be reading Hex. This has been on my bookshelf for like 3 years. I know it came out in 2016, and I just have never gotten to it. I bought it at a used bookstore, and I had heard a lot of people talking about it. So I'm excited to get into this and see what I actually think about it. So this will be the first that I read. Um, Second, I haven't received in the mail yet, but I should be receiving today by 8 p.m. is what the delivery guy said. So I'm going to put a picture of that here. I loved the color of a cover and the color of this, but we'll see what happens when I get into it. Sometimes I like campy, sometimes I don't. It really just depends. So we'll see when we get there. Third, I am going to be reading We Live Here Now. I picked this up at the bookstore. I've been trying to be better about buying books, um, aka not buying so many books as I'm telling you all these books that I'm buying. It is something I'm working on. Okay, we're all a work in progress. But I'm trying to buy books that I know I'm gonna love. But this was just so pretty. I mean, I know not everyone is a fan of the edges, the sprayed edges. I like the sprayed edges, especially when they have like a pattern. The cover itself is pretty. Um, it kind of obviously fits along with the horror vibes. So, looks like a haunted house story. That'll be third. And then last but not least, I have this Stephen Graham Jones. I am a huge fan of Books in Lala, and this is her September book club pick. So, first half, the goal is to get through these four in September, which I know I can do it. And then obviously, I'm going to tune in to, I'm one of her in her club membership. So I'm going to tune into her book club for Literally Dead book club. But I'm excited to read this. I've only read one of Stephen Graham Jones before, and I know a lot of people really like him. It's a duology, so it's like the first half is the babysitter lives, second half is Killer on the Road, and you kind of like flip it. So I haven't read one of these. I haven't read a book with like a thing like that since probably I was a kid. But I'm excited to get into it and like see how I like it and what it's about. If you don't subscribe to Books and Lala, highly recommend it. I'm obsessed with her. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start reading. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take you on an adventure to get my breakfast, and I'll tell you the synopsis for Hex, and then I'm gonna start reading. So see you later. Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Whoever is born here is doomed to stay till death. Whoever settles never leaves. Welcome to Black Spring, the seemingly picturesque Husden Valley town haunted by the Black Rock Witch, a 17th century woman whose eyes and mouth are sewn shut. Muzzled, she walks the streets and enters homes at will. She stands next to children's beds for nights on end. Everybody knows that her eyes may never be opened or the consequences will be too terrible to bear. The elders of Black Spring have virtually quarantined the town by using high-tech surveillance to prevent their curse from spreading. Frustrated with being kept in lockdown, the town's teenagers decide to break their strict regulations and go viral with the haunting. But in so doing, they send the town spiraling into dark medieval practices of the distant past. Okay, so far, not particularly loving this book. It is about halfway through right now. It is giving a little bit too much of a male perspective for me, which is kind of something I've been kind of struggling with here recently. I do kind of want more of a female perspective, and a lot of it is coming from like a teenage boy's perspective, which is just not something that I can really get into. It's very readable though, and I'm very interested to see like where it goes and what happens next. So I'm still gonna keep reading. Not giving a super high rating as of right now, but we will see what happens. So I'm gonna do some reading on my lunch break. It's kind of giving Under the Dome to me, like a tiny bit.
I don't know why. Maybe because it's just kind of centered around a small town like Under the Dome was. Um, and it's giving like a psycho teenage boy, which I'm not a big fan of. I know it's horror, and that's pretty horrific. I just don't love it. Like, I don't want to get too spoilery, but I don't love the direction that it's going in terms of how they're treating the witch. Like, it felt very tongue-in-cheek at first, and now it's crossed like a line for me, but I don't know. We'll see if it kind of recovers. Okay, and now it's giving Pet Cemetery. um, and the funny thing is, on the front of the book, it's blurbed by Stephen King, and it says, totally brilliantly original. I don't know if I agree with you, Stephen, but we're gonna keep reading. I'll keep you updated on what we find. Things are taking a turn at this point, so I'm hoping that we're going down a better path than what we've been down. Yeah, so we'll see.
So I have finished Hex. I give it 2.5 stars. Um, I just didn't love the direction that it took. I could kind of see where it was going, not too far into the book, like probably a third of the way. I could kind of pick up the vibes it was going for, and not something that I'm a big fan of in general. Um, it did give like Pet Cemetery, Under the Dome vibes. I didn't think it was super original. Kind of a bummer to start the video off this way, I'll be honest. I was really hoping that I was going to like it. Usually, a book with a witch, I like, but this was not it for me. So, we're going to move on to the next one, which is Play Nice. So, I love the cover of it. The description, it is about a woman who leads a picture perfect life as a stylist and influencer, but beneath the glossy veneer, she harbors a not so glamorous secret. She grew up in a haunted house. Well, not haunted, possessed. After Cleo's parents' messy divorce, her mother Alex moved Cleo and her sisters into a house occupied by a demon, or so Alex claimed. That's not what Cleo's sisters remember or what the courts determined when they stripped her of custody after she went off the deep end. But Alex was insistent. She even wrote a book about her experience in the house. I just read a book about like a influencer, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. So we will see how this goes. I'll check in with you when I'm about a third or halfway done reading. Wish me luck. Hi. I am super excited because I am absolutely loving this book. It is so good, so much better than I thought it was going to be, which feels like an asshole thing to say, but I'm really, really excited about it. It's been a while since I've read a book that I've been this excited about. Um, I'm about halfway through right now. It's just really good. There's a couple things that no spoilers, um, but it's very relatable, feels very relatable to me. There's one part where she's talking about how, like, the main character is talking about how one of the other characters is like telling her a story, and he's just so excited about it, and she wishes that she could videotape it and watch it. And I feel like that all the time. Like, there's so many times where I've been like, I wish that I could like capsule this memory and like watch it back later, when I need an uplifting moment. So that was just very relatable for me, and I'm really excited to see like where it goes. I'm loving the voice of it. So yeah, I'm really excited. I will check in with y'all once I am finished reading, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Okay, so I just finished the book, and it is so good. 5 stars. I love it. So much better than what I thought it was going to be. Really loved the story of sisterhood, really loved the female voice that it had, the story that it told. I loved it. I thought it was great. I really highly recommend it. If you see it, pick it up, read it. Yeah, so glad that we took a turn with that one. And now I'm going to probably pick up the next one tomorrow, start reading it then, and I'll check in with you tomorrow. Bye. After an accident that nearly killed her, Emily and her husband Freddie moved from London to a beautiful Dartmoor country house called Larkin Lodge. The house is gorgeous, striking, and to Emily, something about it feels deeply wrong. Old boards creak at night, fires go out, and books fall from the shelves, and all of it stems from the terrible presence she feels in the third floor bedroom. But these things happen only when Emily's alone, so are they happening at all? She's still medically fragile. Her post sepsis condition can cause hallucinatory side effects, which means she can't fully trust her own senses. Freddie doesn't notice anything odd and is happy with their chance at a fresh start. Emily, however, starts to believe that the house is being haunted by someone who was murdered in it, though she can find no evidence of a wrongful death. As bizarre events pile up and her marriage starts to crumble, Emily becomes obsessed with discovering the truth about Larkin Lodge. But if the house has secrets, so do Emily and her husband, and they live here now. Okay, so I'm about a third of the way through the book right now, and I'm really liking it so far, which is good. One thing I didn't really think about is that I'm reading two haunted house books back to back. So I'm going to be comparing them to each other, which is obviously not ideal, but is what it is. The book opened with a raven as being like the prologue, and I'm really hoping that that continues throughout the book as like a, I don't know, like a framework or something, because it was interesting to me to hear the raven's point of view about the house. Like I said, really enjoying it so far. Um, I am a third of the way through, so I may check out the audiobook this afternoon while I'm doing some other things. I will check in with you and let you know if I do and how it goes. So, talk to you soon. Okay, so I typically only watch or listen to audiobooks when I'm driving. Um, when it comes to audiobooks, I'm almost always going to prefer reading over an audiobook, but I like listening to them when I'm driving or when I'm doing something else. So I looked up the audiobook and saw that it's a dual POV book in general. And I saw that it was read by two different actors, voice actors. So I definitely wanted to sample it. So what I decided to do is pick up a cross stitch that I've been working on for a few falls now, really hoping to get it knocked out um, this year. But decided to work on that some while I was, testing out the audiobook. And I really like it a lot. I like that it is like dual POV, and I really like that they are using two different actors, and it's coming across really, really well. I think it translates well to audiobooks. So would recommend checking it out that way too if you like listening to audiobooks. I thought I was going to struggle with comparing too much to the last book, but I really do think that they are fairly different enough for me to be able to separate them pretty clearly. I'm still really enjoying it, and I'm hoping that I'm not going to plow through it the rest of the night, but I may end up finishing it tonight because I really want to know what is going on. But I may also try and save it till tomorrow. So we'll see. I'll check in with you all once we're done with the book. Hello. Hopefully the audio is a little bit better this time around than what it was last time I did a car vlog. So we'll see. I did happen to finish up the book last night because I wanted to know what was going to happen. So I couldn't wait. It was really good. I ended up rating it a 4 stars. Couple things that I really liked about it. I did like, and like I said before, I don't want to put any spoilers in here or anything like that. I did like that the Raven was kind of like a consistent like structure that the story was kind of based around, and that the Raven story also kind of reflected the couple story within the house. I thought that was like very creative and interesting. I also really enjoyed the fact that it was like a traditional English haunted house, like in the country, off on the moors, lodge. That is my dream to have a house like that one day. So it's always exciting because it gives like Haunting of Hill House to me. Like whenever we're talking about these kinds of houses being haunted, so I loved that part of it as well. The only reason that I gave it a 4 star instead of a 5 is because it did include a trope that I'm not like super happy with. And it's when like couples don't communicate well
with each other, it really just gets on my nerves and bothers me. So that's the only reason I didn't rate it a 5 star. In this kind of situation, like, yes, it made sense. But I also, it just gets on my nerves. It's just one of those things that like takes me out of the story and I'm like, oh, this again. But other than that, it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. So on to the next. We are starting with Killer on the Road. So I'm going to do a little bit of reading and I will check in with you. So, like I said before, this one is like a two short stories together. The first story is, hold on, like 240 pages. So I'll check in. I'll check in with you when I'm halfway through Killer on the Road. See you soon. 18-year-old Harper has decided to run away from home after having another blowout argument with her mother. However, her two best friends, little sister and ex-boyfriend, all stop her from hitchhiking her way up Route 80 in Wyoming by joining her on an intervention disguised as a road trip. What they don't realize is that Harper has been marked by a very unique serial killer. He's been trawling the highway for the past 3 years, and now the killer is after all of them in this fast paced and deadly chase where the interstate becomes a graveyard. Okay, so I'm about a third of the way through Killer on the Road. Um, I'm debating DNFing it. So, what I think I'm going to do, just to kind of give you some background, I really liked the way it opened. The opening scene was really good. It follows a group of teenagers, and their decision making skills are horrific. So, I'm struggling with like staying in it. So, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to save my spot, go ahead and start on The Babysitter Lives, see how that goes, and then I may circle back to Killer on the Road. As of right now, I'm just struggling with it, and I don't want to force myself to read it if I'm not enjoying it. So we'll give it a break and come back to it and see what happens. So I will check in with you once I'm reading Babysitter Lives. Okay, so I forgot to mention yesterday, I did check out the audiobook for Killer on the Road. And I don't know if that was part of the reason why I wasn't really loving it because I didn't like the audiobook. The narrator was just kind of monotone, and so it was losing my attention. And then when I went home, was reading more, I could not get myself to lock in. So I went ahead and am going to transition into reading The Babysitter Lives, and we will check that out. When high school senior Charlotte agrees to babysit the Wilbanks twins, she plans to put the 6-year-olds to bed early and spend a quiet night studying. The SATs are tomorrow, and checking the Native American Alaskan Native box on all the forums won't help if she chokes on test day. But tomorrow is also Halloween, and the twins are eager to show off their costumes. The house is filled with mysterious noises and secrets that only the twins understand, echoes of horrors that Charlotte gradually realizes took place 11 years ago. Soon, Charlotte has to admit that every babysitter's worst nightmare has come true. They're not alone in the house. Right now, I'm about halfway through The Babysitter Lives. I'm really liking it a lot more than Killer on the Road, like quite a bit more. I am not going to listen to the audiobook of it because I want to make sure that I don't like lose focus in terms of enjoying it. But I'm really liking the writing. I'm really liking the main character. So I'm really enjoying it so far. It's a little bit more supernatural than I thought it was going to be, honestly. Based on the name, I kind of just thought it was going to be kind of more like 80s campy, and it's not. But really enjoying it. So I will check in with y'all when I'm finished. Okay, so I just finished The Babysitter Lives, and I liked the first half of it. I did not like where it ended, unfortunately. Um, I like weird books, but it was just a little too weird for me. It was the kind of weird that's like hard for me to wrap my head around. Um, so it just didn't really appeal to what I like in terms of horror. Um, Bummer. I'm going to do 2.75 stars. I think I am going to try and pick up um, Killer on the Road again tonight and try and finish it. And then I will check in with y'all and do a final wrap up. Hi. So, good news. I went ahead and finished Killer on the Road, and I actually really ended up liking it. So here's what I'll say about the book, like overall. I would say I really enjoyed the first half of The Babysitter Lives and did not enjoy the second half of it. The Babysitter Lives, it started off weird, like things were weird. I'm okay with that. And then it just got too weird. Um, the kind of weird that you're like, I don't even understand what's really happening right now. So that turned me off of that. And I didn't love the ending. Killer on the Road, I didn't love the first half, like I said before. It followed a group of teenagers, and it's like everything they were doing. I'm like, what's happening here? Why are we doing this? But the second half, I really enjoyed. It's like once it wasn't like once they weren't making poor choices anymore, I really liked it, and I liked the end of it. There was a twist at the very end that I mean, I didn't like it, but I was surprised by it, to be frank. Wasn't really expecting that. And then, so just a little bit of background for Killer on the Road. The main character, her dad was a truck driver, and that's like talked about. It's pretty like, I'd say it's a pretty big piece of the plot. Um, and I've had family members who were truck drivers, not my father, but my grandfather was at one point, my great uncle was at one point, my uncle was at one point. So it's just something that my family has done before. I didn't grow up around it, but I still feel like somewhat of a connection to it. And towards the end, she mentioned the Alabama song about the 18 wheeler. And I grew up singing that with my parents. So I don't know. I just thought that was a cute little Easter egg. But overall, I'm going to give the duet three out of 5 stars. I would say I would recommend reading it. I would say out of the two, Killer on the Road was my favorite. And honestly, surprised by that because I really thought The Babysitter Lives was going to do it for me, but I really liked it. So, good way to end the first video. I may end up doing a 3-part series instead of a 2-part because I have kind of blown through this first stack of books. So, hope that's okay. I will see you guys soon, and I hope that you have a great fall season.